Well, thank you very much for being back here with me for another video series. Today, I'm going to walk you through a simple exercise that I've incorporated into my business planning. This is the first critical step that I use and I coach to when I'm looking to set off on the journey to build my next business plan. All right, let's get after it.
Here we go now.
Throughout the years of my business planning, while I've been trying to do what we've accomplished here at Redline, I realized pretty quickly that there was a gap in the planning process. I honestly felt it quite silly sometimes to have to go out and to start off by setting one big production set of goals or revenue targets. Now, you've all heard the term, well, you maybe heard the term BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. That's the big element that you're trying, and a lot of business coaches will want you to go in and chase. See, the typical process is come up with the big number and then unpack it and reverse engineer it down to some tangible elements that you can tackle day in, day out. But for me, I felt as much as I'm a dreamer, as much as I'm a big thinker, the idea of throwing a large number out without too much thought behind it, and then building a plan with assumptions after assumptions onto it, didn't really set me up for this moment of belief and confidence that I could achieve it. So what I did is I built myself this 5-minute exercise that gave myself clarity that I needed before I can go and set that big target and work on the reverse engineering of it. See, this 5-minute process basically did one thing. It allowed me to have an moment to decide if I was really going to be interested in what's involved to chase that really big goal, or if it was just kind of a nice idea and something that I'm kind of forced to put on paper. The last thing I want to achieve is being a bit of a dream killer. But I know for myself, it became very evident year over year that I needed to have this deep heart to heart with how much energy I was willing to put into the year to come. With my agents as well, having those heart to hearts and those real simple conversations on the front end allowed us to define the effort they're about to get into when defining that full plan with me. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you here on this video, and I can walk you through that simple analyzer, the pre-business plan analyzer tool that I've built to define those elements that I just talked to you about. Okay, well, I've just pulled up the sheet that I'm talking about. This is the analyzer tool. As you can see, it's quite rudimentary, but it's built just in a simple Excel document with a few formulas. There's a few inputs and there's a few outputs. The first thing you'll see is that there's some blue boxes and there's some green boxes. The blue boxes is where I need you to input them, or as I'm walking through my agents, I will input this for them as we get down through the questions that it asks. The green boxes are where the outputs come out. These are the highlight fields that we're going to discuss as we decide if you are interested or committed to these numbers. The main goal with this spreadsheet is to put the items that matter the most in plain sight. And that's what I've highlighted in those green output boxes. For us as realtors, there's two very important things that come up time in, time out, which are the most important things I want us to be focused on if we want to execute and realize those goals we set out. Those items are, number one, number of appointments set. That could be listing appointments or buyer's appointments. Number two, that is number of qualified real estate conversations. If you're an agent that's putting high intention to those two things, day in, day out, week in, week out, as the months go along, I promise you, the rest will work itself out. Now, the opposite is true as well. When you're looking at how have I done so far this year, this quarter, this month, and you're trying to figure it out, if you pulled back the curtain a little bit and got real with yourself about how many new appointments have you set and how many true real estate conversations have you made happen? You will start to realize real quickly that that is where you've lacked. When your frequency on those two elements is consistent and you're basically relentless week over week, I can tell you, you will learn by doing very quickly. The skills that you may not have, you will learn, and they won't be as important. It's the cadence and the frequency that wins out year in, year out. And when I speak with other top agents in and around North America, the conversation I have at the beginning of all of this is to define a few things that's required for the realtor or for myself in terms of financial stability. Right? The first question I will ask you is, how much money do you need month in, month out in your bank account, free of tax debt and burdens, that you need to run your household? I want to get real with that early. This allows you to do things like put food and water on the table. It allows you to pay all of your debts, your car loans, your mortgage payments. And this I need to make, I would also suggest, has some little bit of quality life built in to maintain the standard that you have right now. That's the I need to make. Now, the second question is also, beyond that, is I want to make, right? I want to make is something I want to put out there, that when I think about what me and my spouse might want to do, or my own personal goals to achieve, what is that I want to make number that I can see that if I could get that extra couple thousand or that extra 10,000 in per month, I can see that. I really want to achieve that, because it would probably do one of two things. It could improve my quality of life. It could pay off some debts. It could allow you to save for other things. And then the third one, which is usually that is that big, hairy, audacious goal. So I've broken it down into those three, and there's rooms on this thing. And the outputs are also correlated to those three different numbers: I need, I want, and the big, hairy, audacious goal. So as I go over the spreadsheet here with you, you see the I need to make section right here. So in a situation like this is in your bank account. What this spreadsheet does is it'll take the I need to make, it'll then grosses it up based on taxes. I've got a simple tax calculator on the side based on how big your goals are, what tax will be implicated to your earnings, your gross earnings. And then I've got, of course, gross earnings, meaning when you have to pay your brokerage, you've got a certain split. Every one of you listening to this has a different split within whatever company you're with. So, you'll have a gross income line, you'll pay your splits, you want to pay yourself, and you want to put away for taxes. So after all of that, the I need to make number, that's the one I'm chasing. So I start there. On the sheet here as well, you'll see right below it, it equates and it pulls together the number of homes you will need to sell in the given year. The other reason I start with the I need to make, which isn't that big, sexy number, is because oftentimes when I'm in these meetings, the biggest thing I hear is, hey, Darren, I would just like to figure out a way to repeat what I did last year. Let's start there, because that seems like a big task. And then they'll start to expand their minds after we built a bit of a plan around that. So now that we have the I need to make number figured out, I need to start to put a few more inputs in based on your life situation. So in real estate, of course, you might have an average sale price. So you may not know this because you're newer to the business. And if that's the case, that's okay. Because the reality is you can probably go with one of two things: the average benchmark price in your area, or you can go into the average price point of, say, that the sphere that you live and operate in, because a very big portion of your first couple of years of business will likely be within your sphere. So you'll input that right here: average sale price. Average commission spits out based on your commission rates. We've got ours here for Calgary built in. I ask the tax rate because we go through this, and right off to the side, I can implement the tax rate in there. Then I put in your take-home split based on your brokerage split. If you're a 100% agent, you put 100% there, and then you would just adjust this next one, which is my monthly brokerage fee. The other thing with the monthly brokerage fee, this is an opportunity here if you want to get really real with your numbers. If you've got these fixed monthly expenses surrounding your business, this could be a website. This could be online lead generation that you just position. This could be a farm newsletter that costs you X money per month. You can put all of that information into the monthly brokerage fee amount because those are fixed numbers per month that you will want to plan your business around. And then right below this is a fun one. When I ask people this, they kind of get taken aback, but it's this thing about the number of vacation weeks per year, right? That's right here. I want you to get very real, because if you do take 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, 8 weeks off with your family, your spouse has that much time off, and you get out to the lake or you like to get off, I want us in our pre-business plan, when we're trying to get real with the efforts required to tackle that big goal you're about to set, I want to ensure that we're not giving you the chance to say, hey, on those 4 weeks off that you're working, it doesn't work that way. We need to pull those and claw those out so I can show you the real amount of effort you're going to have to put in on those, say, 48 weeks of the year that you're truly working. One more thing. Right here, you can see this. I have it as here, I will perform a day in the life of a Redline agent. A day in the life of a Redline agent, to you listening, if you're not here with Redline, is basically a day in the life of a full professional agent. And a full professional agent does a workday that doesn't just consume themselves with active client work. Beyond that, to make a full-fledged workday, there is a layer and a forced effort around growing your business with prospecting efforts. To me, an agent that wakes up and is reactive to their day and they don't take on some business building initiatives, they haven't worked that day. So what I'm asking of my agents with this question is, how many days of the week are you going to be proactively growing your business with prospecting and business building efforts that will match up with the daily activities that this little analyzer spits out? So you may work in real estate 7 days a week, but that 7 days is not what I'm putting here. You will likely not do 7 days worth where you're prospecting for your business. Let me put in 4 days a week. I'll give you 1 day off a week so that in case things go off the rails and you didn't get, say, your power hour of calls done. So now that we've finished all the blue inputs, I'm going to flick you over to these outputs right here that you can see on my cursor. Right, you can see I've got an output box for listing or buyer's appointments that need to be set per week. And then the next one down here is number of new real estate conversations you need to achieve on a given day in a given week. So based on this situation, with wanting to earn $10,000 in my bank account, clear, with taxes saved and my brokerage split cost and my monthly fees already built in. Under that scenario, and everything to do with the sales price that they have put into this, it spits out 2 numbers. You need 2 new listing appointments or buying appointments set per week. As well, you need 4 days a week, because we said we're prospecting 4 days a week, 5.7 new real estate conversations per day. See, once you get to a point like this, and you've put in the number of earnings you want to make, and it spits out these 2 daily and weekly deliverables that you need to focus on. If you're an agent and you see this, you see that there's this much effort required to achieve that, you're going to do one of 2 things. You're going to say, oh, this is great. I got this. I got this in the bag. Let me up the goal. Or you're going to say, whoa, I might have got ahead of myself. I can't imagine how I would pull this together. And we can pull back a little bit and define a set of goals where your actions will match the number. See, at this point in the spreadsheet, the aha has happened. I've added one extra little bit of column and motivation, which it breaks it down on a dollar basis. In this situation, it's really nice to know that every appointment that I end up setting is going to, in this scenario, net me $1,300. There's a lot of factors of safety built in to this, which says every appointment I set, not all of them end up materializing. Some just fall apart, right? Every appointment I go on, I don't always get them into a client situation. And every client I take on with a contract It doesn't always work out into a firm deal. So behind this number, I've already set the stage for a bunch of the fallout that happens so that we don't set ourselves up for failure. It's kind of fun to know that in this situation, there's $1,300 per appointment that I make, or on the flip side, I didn't make if I didn't hit my daily number. The other one here is simply the conversations I have. Many real estate conversations when you're an agent end up in no again, end up in no. And the coaches and all of us say, well, you got to get out there and keep chasing those no's, because over time, the math works in your favor. So in this situation, $117 per conversation. And if you're supposed to do 5 to 6 of those a day, that adds up. It either adds up in the good pile that you're working towards that, or it works out in the bad pile where you've left that much money on the table. So at this stage, when I speak with our agents and I say, okay, how would we get into 6 new real estate conversations every day, 4 days a week? From there, we then turn from the numbers and we turn this into tangible action items that they will do day in, week out to get that number to be achieved. This whole graph has been modeled under the I need to make. But right below this, I've added 2 more little lines, one for the I want to make, and then one for the big, hairy, audacious goal. So once you've got those daily figures and those weekly figures, it's nice to just say, okay, well, what if I really do want to make 15,000 a month, not just 10? Or I really do want to make 20,000. What will that do to the output? Well, this is a simple visualizer to tell you how those numbers change. It's in this conversation that me and the agents, or me and myself, will really get real with the number that I want to go build this business plan around. If the idea of 10 new real estate conversations under the $20,000 a month seems far-fetched, and even with a bit of a dialogue with me early on, it seems too much, well, then we'll pull back and we'll find the happy medium on what they want to earn and get real with it. Well, that's it with my simple analyzer tool. I hope you can see with that simple analyzer that the awareness of those 2 simple numbers, number of new real estate conversations per day and number of new appointments set per week, can be very helpful to get you the belief behind this big business plan you're about to go create. Let me give you this example. If one of your lead sources is open houses, and you're somebody that's earned business from it quite a bit before, and you want to keep doing it. If your goal was to do 1 per weekend, you could probably think back pretty quickly to say, how many people on average come through my open house over the years? Say that number is 5. What if you added one more thing to it to say, you know what, for every open house I do on Saturday, I value my time and I want to monetize the effort. What if you door knocked 50 homes in the area leading up to that open house? What if of those 50 houses, maybe 15 people end up with a conversation? So now that one open house, that one source of business will lead you to 5 real estate conversations on the day, 15 on the week leading up. And now you've got 20 real estate conversations happening just from that one lead source happening 1 time per week. Now, many of my agents, they do 2 a weekend. All of a sudden you double that. Now you've got 40 new real estate conversations that would happen on a given week. If I flip back to that analyzer, that person with $100,000 net income goal required 5.7 real estate conversations per day. Now that one strategy of 1 open house per week coupled with some door knocking would lead them to achieve those 20 conversations per day goal that's required. Now they'd have to do that week in, week out, 48 weeks a year according to that situation. And the power of that compounded is very powerful. Things like your database business, calling your sphere, calling your past clients, calling your repeat clients, calling your investor clients, all of those add up to the real estate conversations per day number. So there you have it. That's my simple pre-business plan analyzer tool that I use to give myself and our agents complete awareness about the reality about the journey they're about to embark on. And then if it's aligned and we've got commitment, not just interest, we can build a powerful and tactical business plan from it. Hopefully this helps you. And if you do want to learn how you could build this simple tool into your business, or if you're not in real estate and you wanted to adjust it towards your most impactful and leading indicators to drive your business forward, I'd love to help you out. Comment, I'd love to share this, and we can get on a little personal coaching consultation to see how we can help you and integrate this into your business. Once again, thanks for listening. Hopefully this was helpful. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment. I do answer every one of them. Have a great day.